Hello my friends, today we will be taking this image over here. Now this image is great for beginner because we will only be using one light only. Normally if I would take an image like this, I'll probably use 4 to 6 lights, but for this one I wanted to keep it to minimum gear, so I will do a one light only video. Also, before we get in the tutorial, I want to remind you that I organize my videos and playlists. So if you're looking to learn product photography, go check out my playlist. We have, I think, over 30 product photography tutorials so far, so you can watch them for free at your own time. Now, to set up the shot, I would be using these blue wooden boxes. I bought this on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below. Also, from now on into my video descriptions, you will find a link to my Amazon store. Those are the products that you'll find there. Those are items that I own and I love and I recommend. And the reason I made this Amazon store link is not to brag about all the products that I have, well, there's two reasons. One is if you ever see me do a video and I forget to mention what those products are or where I got them from, then you can look into my Amazon stores, and if I bought them from Amazon, then you will find them there. And also, for example, let's say you are looking to buy a Godox VL200 and you just have some questions about it or you want an opinion. If I have it into my Amazon stores, that means I do own that product. So you can ask me any questions or, ask to see a tutorial using that product, and I will make that happen. So that's why I created that. All right, that's kind of my setup. The perfume we'll be photographing today is this perfume over here. I thought the bottle was so beautiful, and I have no idea what it smells like. I have not even tested. I just wanted to photograph it. So let's see. I'll be placing this just like so. All right. As usual, I'm shooting with my Sony 7R4. My lens is the Sony 90mm macro lens, and I am tethered on Capture One. Let me get my composition going. I know I will be taking it on portrait orientation. So let's see. Maybe something like that. That is great. For the light, I'll be using the Godox 100. It's a small, little powerful light. I use it all the time. And before we do anything, let's make sure we have a blank image so we do not get any pollution from all this ambient light. So I'm going to take a shot. And you know what? Let me just screen record so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So it looks like my camera from a previous shoot was set at f4. And as you can see, I do not get the black frame. I am seeing some of that gold snake. So I will increase the aperture to f8. Make sure I am focused, and let's take a shot. Great, this is no lights in the room. We still see a little bit of highlights. That's just from all this ambient light, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me so much. It's just on the golden snake part. Now that we have our base exposure, let's start adding some lights and build this shot. The first thing I want to do is let's see. I'll be building this from kind of the back forward, and that will take care of the background. For the background, I'm using a Savage paper roll. I will leave that in the link, the description below. I believe it's called Denim or something, but I'll make sure I'll link that. And I chose blue because my bottle has a gold. There's the gold snake. The perfume is kind of goldish tone. So gold and blue, they're complementary colors. So I thought that would work best. My speed light, like I said, is the Godox 100. I have it right now at 116 power, and I'll start with that. The first thing I will do is set my light. It has no diffusion material, no grids, no nothing. It's just kind of almost straightforward that way. And I am going to get this is one of those 5-in-1 diffusing materials. You get them. You can buy them for very cheap. I'll be using this to diffuse and get some gradations. So let's see. Just gonna place this right like that. And I forgot to turn on the trigger to trigger my lights. Let's make sure we turn on the lights. And let's take this shot, just like this. And that should give me a nice edge light on that side. And let's see, what do we have here? That is not bad. My light is looking too much downwards. Let me adjust it a little bit. There you go, something like that. Maybe even lower it a little bit. Let's try this again. I am going to place this on the table, something like that, and take a shot. And that is very nice. We got a nice light. Maybe a little bit too bright on the top cap. Let's see. Maybe let's take it down. Right now my speed light is at 1.8 power. Let's put it at 116. I thought I had it at 116, apparently not. So let's see, 116 power. Let's take this shot again. This is good on the top part of the cap for the bottle. The other one was better. I'm going to move it just a little bit outwards like this. Let's try this again. That is perfect. I like that. So we got the edge. Now I'm gonna move to the side and make sure we get some nice gradation on the side. I'm going to put my diffusing material over there, take a shot. And you see, now we move to the next section where the snake head is. So let's see, that was the before. This is the after. Great. So we got two shots from this side. Let's repeat this on the other side. So first, just kind of almost straight forward on that side. And that should give us the edge light. Now I'm trying not to move the table while I take these shots because, you know, we'll have to combine them all in post. So I got the edge light. Now I'm gonna move it to the side just like before. And let's see, I'll place my diffuser here. Great, we got the next section. Things are looking great. So we got the edge, we got the side. Now we have to take care of the background and the front of it, the liquid. So let's see, let's light up the liquid first. Now there's multiple ways of doing that. One of that could be just shooting from the back through the liquid. So I'm going to show you how that would look like. I could simply just place my light right behind the liquid, the bottle, and shoot through it. And that will give us a nice golden tone onto the liquid, as you can see. So that is very nice. I might use that. But there's another way to do that. And that is by, let me put this diffusing material away. I can take the light, point it towards my background, lower it so I don't see it in the shot, and take a shot at the background like that. Let's see what we get now. So that is too dim. So let's see, I'm gonna put it, let's go all the way to full power. and place it behind the perfume. Let's take a shot. You see, we're getting somewhere. Now maybe it's too low and a little bit too much to the right. If I just angle it a little bit more upwards, let's see what we get now. You see, we can light up the bottle like that. Now, what I do like in this shot is that the bottom of the bottle has that blue tone into it. So I think I like that. Now I can even point it a little bit higher. And that should put more light into the bottle, into the liquid. There you go. So that is not bad. If I bring the light closer to the background, we get something similar, maybe a little bit brighter. All right. So I think we have some shots of the liquid. Let's see. What if I light the background now? So I'll take this light, same light. I'll put it on this stand because that one doesn't go so high. I'll put it on this C stand and I will raise it up and even higher. Something like that. And then I will angle it down. And what I'm looking for is almost like a gradation from this corner downwards. Now, of course, we are at 1 full power, so I'm going to go down to 1/16 power, something like that. Let's see what we get. That is not enough power. Now, here is another thing. If I light the background like that, let me just put it at full power so you can see, or let's say a quarter power. If I light it like that, you'll see my background paper has wrinkles in it. You can see the textures, you can see the wrinkles, and I do not like to see wrinkles into my background. I want it to be nice and soft. So what I will do, I'll take it down back to the 1/16. And I'll go to my camera and I'll change my f-stop from f8 to let's try f4.5. And this should brighten the shot and also blur the background so we won't see so much texture. You see, let's go even lower. f3.5. Better. Now, the reason we're seeing texture is because we're lighting this background from the side so you can see all the texture. If I angle it just a little bit more forward, it should smooth it out even more. Because when you light things from the front, it gives you a flat image. So there you go. That looks good for the background. Now let's light the front. And the thing that I find people have the most trouble with is lighting a gold foil logo because it needs to reflect light and it's very hard to light if you don't know how. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, I'm going to put my light back on this tiny stand. It's not the most stable stand, but it goes very, very low and I like that. Even though for this I don't need it to go low. So let's see. I want to first illuminate more of that snake. I'll take care of the snake and then the logo. For that, I will place it like that, maybe a little bit looking downwards. And I'm going to place it something like that. And then I will take a bounce card. Let's see where I put my bounce card. I'll use this one. I'll leave a link to this one too. It's from V Flat. I like it because it's like a V, easy to hold, easy to set on the table. But I'm just going to bounce some light back to light that snake. And I'm only looking at the snake now, not much else. And that is not bad for that side. Now I can do the same on the other side. Great, that is looking good. Make sure I'm not overexposing, and we are overexposing some. Maybe we need to take the power of the light a little bit lower for the snake. Let's go to 132. So let's try this again. Better. Let's do that on the other side too. Make sure we don't have anything overexposed and we're not losing details. Just like that. Great. That is looking good with the snake. Now the only thing we need to light up is the front where the logo is. And for that I will show you a technique I have not shown you before. Now in order to light the logo, what I will do is place this light kind of here on the side, pointing almost to my camera, just a little bit off, so I don't get much flare. And then what I'll be using is this foam board that I cut a hole into it, just like this. And this is where my lens is going to go. And the reason why I did this is because foil logos and stuff, it reflects, it's just like a mirror. So we need to make it reflect highlight, otherwise it's not gonna appear bright, it's gonna look dark. So let's try this. This should bounce some good light into our logo. There you go, and that looks beautiful. Great. I say we have all the images, let's go to the computer and put this image together. Now here we are into Lightroom, and this is all of our images. I already went through it and picked the ones that I will be using for this photo. And if I go here into filters and click on rated, then you will see this is the images I chose. Now with all these images selected, if you do not have them selected, you can click Command A to select all, and then you will go into Photos, Edit in, Open as Layers in Photoshop. Now these layers, I've done 0 edits to it yet, and that is because I don't want to edit anything until the image is all merged together. And you will open them as layers in Photoshop. Now because I don't want you to sit here and wait until my photos are loading, I already import them as layers in Photoshop. Now here is all my images into Photoshop loaded as layers, and the first layer I have here, this is the one we'll be using for the background. Then the next 3 images are the ones we're gonna blend in for the bottle for the liquid. Then moving on, I have this is the logo and the front part of the snake. Then we have the very edge on the left. Then we're moving inwards a little bit from the left. Then I have this image, I'm not sure if I will use that one. I'm not sure if I will use that one either. Then we have the right edge and a little bit more inwards from the right. And that one as well, I'm not sure if I will use that one. So let's get into it. I will unclick them all except the background. I know I want to keep the background separate. So what I will do, I will select every other layer, all the layers I mean, other than the background. I will select them all and I'll go Command G to put them into a group. And I want to create a mask for this group. I want to select the bottle, and I'll be making a mask of the bottle and put it to the group, and that way everything we do inside the group, it would only affect the bottle. So I'm going to open this group and find an image that I can use to easily select the bottle, and I'll be using this one. And let's see, I'll zoom it at 100%, hold down Z, click on this 100 on the top. And now I will be using the curvature pen tool It's right here under the pen tool, curvature pen tool. And this one, it's a really easy tool to use because it just wants to make curves. You click 2 points, you can adjust it, go back. And I use this one in every one of my tutorials. You see how it just makes curves automatically. And here we need to have a sharp corner. If I will just click here, it will try to make a curve and it messes it up. But if you hold down Option, you see how it changes. If I click on it, it makes a straight point. And then I can adjust it and keep going around the curve. Very easy tool for beginners. So let's see. Here I'll have to make this one into a straight one, so hold down Option. I hold down spacebar to navigate around my image and try to make as best of a selection you can. The better your selection it is, the better the result will be. And now when you get to your first point that you make, let's see, we will get closer and we'll click on the first point and that makes a path. If I go Command 0, you see we have a path around the bottle, and then you right click on it and make a selection. Now here you will choose a feather radius anywhere between 0.5 to 1 pixel. Let's go with 1 pixel this time and click OK. And now we have a selection, but you can see we select everything but the bottle. We need to make sure we select the bottle, and for that we need to go to Select Inverse. And now we have the bottle selected. And what I will do with this selection of the bottle, I will unclick this layer over here, and I'm gonna go to my group. Let's see if we collapse the group. You see this is our group, and I'll create a mask on the group. So now you see we have this group with this mask of the bottle, and everything we do here inside this group, it would only affect the bottle. So let's start building our shot. So now within our group, let's turn on the first layer, and this is our brightness of our liquid here. And let's see, what I want to do is get rid of this little halo that we have on the edges there. So I'll just create a mask, and then with a brush, soft brush, I have hardness to 0. So with that, with the brush with color black, so X to toggle between the white and black here. If you have different colors, let's say you have red and there. Oops, I'm in the mask, that's why I chose gray instead of red. So let's say I am with red, and to my color swatches, to put them to default black and white, hold down D and that will put them into default. So now I have a soft brush with black color, and what I will do is zoom in at 100%, and I'll just go around the edges a little bit just to darken those so we don't have that haloing. So just with my very feathered brush, go around it. Let's see over here, I'll just go like this. I should have made the brush a little bit smaller. It's a little bit big for this, but that's okay. I'm just trying to do it fast to don't bore you guys to that. So there you go, we took care of this edge. Maybe get a little bit on the snake here. And then let's take care of this edge as well. So let's see. We can fix more of it later. Command 0 to fit the screen. So now we have our base exposure onto the bottle. Now let's turn on the next layer, and what I like about the next layer is the blue part here on the bottom. It's a little bit deeper, and we have a better white highlight there. You see that's the before, this is the after. So I think I want to take just that part from the bottom. So I'll make a negative mask. Do that by holding down Option while you click on the mask, and now we have a black mask. That means nothing is showing. And then with a white brush this time, we want to paint into our image like so. Just the parts that we want, which is this dark blue on the bottom. So this is our before and after, before and after. Great. Let's move to the next exposure, and this I like how bright the liquid is. So I'll make a negative mask on this one too, and then with a white brush I will paint in the liquid that I wanted to be brighter. Just like that. Great. So this is the before and after. Let's move on to the next layer, and this is where I have the logo and part of the snake. Now here I'll make a different kind of mask, and I'll be using a color range mask. To do that, with this image selected, I'll go to select color range. You know what? First, let's zoom in at 100%. So I'll click down Z, click on this 100 because I want to make sure I'm selecting all this logo. And now we go to select color range, and right now it's selected on highlights, and you can see it finds the highlights, which will select all the snake and the writing, but I want to go into the color. So I want to sample the color, and I will click on this gold. And here, once you select your color, let's say it's not selecting all of it, it's kind of like this. What you want to do is increase the fuzziness. You see like we're missing part of the letters, and then increase the range. You don't want to go too much, because if you go too far and you start seeing the background, then you're not selecting, you're selecting the background as well. So you want to find a happy medium. So for this image, I think where it was maybe around 117 for fuzziness and 72 for range. That gives me a nice clean selection of my gold. I apologize for the background noise. We do have construction going on, and that's not gonna go away anytime soon. So now that we have our gold selected, we can click OK. And now we have a selection of the gold, and what I will do is just create a mask with this gold and Command 0 to fit to screen. Now you can see we only show the gold from the snake and the logo. That is looking good. Now there is some parts that I didn't want this, like this little highlight here, some of it in the cap. So I'll go on my mask and I'll take my brush with a black brush. And let's see, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Let's toggle this on and off so we can see what we don't want. And I can see I do not want this highlight over here. I also don't want this highlights over here. Oops. This one over here. Let's see what else is here. Before and after, before and after. All right, the rest of it looks good. Command 0 to fit to screen. Let's move into our next layer, and that is this left side. So what I will do now is do kind of the same thing. I'll go to the select color range, and I already chose the range for my gold, so I will keep the same settings. I don't need to change anything. Now you see it's also selecting this part over here, but we'll take care of that in a second. So I'll just click OK, and I will make a mask with this selection. So now it's adding this gold on the side. So this is the before, this is the after. It's also adding a little bit of highlight here and here, which I do not want. So with the black brush, just go and paint those off, something like that. Let's toggle on and off, before and after, before and after. That is looking good. Let's move into the next. And here we have more of the snake and a little bit more golden. And you know what? Hold on. Over here, we forgot to add this highlight on the cap. So go back on the mask and with a white brush, paint that in, just like that. And that is looking good. Now let's move into the next one. And we want more of this gold here and more of this gold here. So I will go to the select color range. My color range is already selected for golds. We have to remember to remove this one and this one over here. So click OK and make a mask with it. And let's see, this is the before and after, before and after. Maybe this one doesn't bother me here so much. Let's see what it does. Before and after. Oh, I don't want it. I'll click on the mask with the black brush. I'll delete this part. Command 0 to fit to screen. Let's see again, before and after. You see it's filling in a little bit of this gold and more of the snake. Let's move on into our next exposure. Now, I'm not sure I'm using this one. I'll leave it unchecked. Let's move on. This exposure, I'm not so fond of it either. Let's see, before and after, before and after. I could use it just to bring a little bit of highlight here on the neck of the bottle. So let's see, before and after. I'll take a little bit of it. So make a black mask, and then with a white brush, I have to make my brush a lot smaller. Let's see if we just bring a little bit of highlight in here. Something like that, just to give it a little bit more definition. And it's too bright, so what I will do with this layer selected, I will just make a brightness and contrast layer, and I'll clip it to the layer below. To clip it, you click on this button over here, and I'll just take the brightness down on that one. Just give it a little bit, something like that. Great. Let's move on. Let's see the next layer. The next layer, we have the very highlight on the right side. So with that selected, I'll go back to select color range, make sure it select all the gold. And you see I don't want these ones on the side. I'll click OK, select on the mask. And now with the mask selected, let's see, before and after. I do want to remove, so I'll use a black brush, remove some of the highlight it added in here and in here. So let's see this again, before and after, before and after. And then with the mask selected with white brush this time, so X to toggle between white and black, I do want to add this highlight here on the side. Maybe a little bit on the cap too. Something like that. And that is looking good for this layer. Let's see, before and after. Let's move into the next layer. The next layer is more of the snake, the gold, and this part over here on the cap. So go back to select color range, say OK, and create a mask. And now let's see, this added this gold here on the cap, a little bit on the snake head. And we have to add this one on the cap over there. So with the mask selected with white, let's just paint in this highlight over here. And I went a little bit too far, so X, let's zoom in a little bit, because I don't want to take away from this highlight. Oh. There you go. So with the white, make sure that I'm getting this nice highlight over here. All right. Maybe we can even add a little bit of highlight over here. Get rid of this little thing that is happening here. Just like that. Now there's some funky thing happening here. Let's see if we can fix that. We'll go with that for now. Command 0 to fit to screen. And let's see, this is our before and after. Before and after, that is looking good. Let's move on. This is our next layer. And maybe I will add a little bit of highlight and D here from this one. So I'll just make a mask. And then let's see, with the brush, with white, maybe I'll just paint a little bit onto this side, just to add a little bit of dimension. There you go, Command 0 to fit to screen. So this is our before and after, before and after. I think I like it before. I like that part black. I'll leave it like that. So the bottle is looking pretty good. There was a layer that I did not use. Let's move it to the top. Let's see what we can do. Oops. If we can use anything from this one, I'll move it on the top of the stack here in the group. So this layer brings anything to us or no? No, not gonna use it. Great. So the bottle is looking really good, but we need to work now on this background here. We've kind of lost those cubes. We don't see them anymore. So I need to find two images that we could see those cubes. And let's see which ones are those images. I think it was this layer. So I will click on that. And then also, so this layer, the ones on the left, and then maybe with this layer for the right side. So I selected those two layers that I'll be using to bring back those cubes. And then by holding down Option and dragging them to the top, it's gonna make a duplicate, like a copy of them, and it's gonna pull them out of that group, put them on the top. So this is our two layers. I'm going to delete the masks from these ones because I won't need the mask. So let's see. This is the first layer. I'll be taking the top cube and the right one. And then from the second layer, I'll take the left cube. Actually, I'll take from the top one, I'll take the left and the top. And then from the one on the bottom, I'll just take the right one. So let's see. With this layer selected, I want to take the top and the bottom, and for that I will just use the polygonal lasso tool. This should be pretty easy because, you know, there's just straight lines. So to use this tool, very, very easy. Just make a point, click, make a point, click, make a point. Very, very simple. So let's see. And then when you close the path, it makes a selection and you click on the mask. So there you go. We brought back those cubes. And then from this image, so I'll turn that one off. From this image, I just want to bring in this cube on the bottom. So with the same tool, I am going to start maybe over here and easy, easy, make a selection. Something like that, and create a mask. So now if we turn everything on, we should have a nice selection of our cubes. Now, of course, we are not done. We have to get rid of all the dust spots and so on. So let's see. I know I saw some dust spot over here. I can't find it now anymore. So let's see, we'll go down. First, we have to make a new blank layer on the top. And now with the spot healing brush tool, we'll go around and we clean up everything that we don't like in this image, every little spot. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this is going to take some time because there's a lot of stuff in here. Now, my cubes here, even though I wiped them, you see how much dust they have. So let's get rid of that in an easier way. The easiest way to get rid of those dust spots is to make a stamp layer that is Command, Option, Shift, and E. And this basically makes a picture of everything that we've done so far. So if I unclick every layer that we've done before, and we only keep this one, we will get the same image that we had because this is just a picture of everything else that we've done before. So let me bring back everything that we've done. And now what we do with this stamp layer, let me zoom in again onto my props here so you can see. You see all the dust. We can go to Filter, Noise, Dust and Scratches. And here you need to find the radius and threshold where you don't lose too much detail, but you get rid of all the noise. For me, for my camera resolution, for this image, radius of 10 and threshold of 6, you see I get rid of absolutely every little bit of dust. So I will click OK. Command 0 to fit to screen. And I want to make sure I only apply this to everything but the bottle. I want to keep my bottle sharp. So what I will do, I already have a mask of the bottle here. So I'll hold down Option and drag it upwards, and that will make a copy of it and make it over here. But you see, white reveals, black hides. That means I'm applying this, dust removal to the bottle, not the background, and I want it to be the opposite. So with the mask selection, I'll do Command I, and that will invert it. And now we are hiding this dust remover from the bottle and applies it to everything else. So now when I zoom in into my prop, you see no dust. This is the before, this is the after. And that saved us so much time. Now there is one other little thing I want to do. This highlight over here, it kind of bothers me. So for that, I'll make a blank layer and let's go see it a little bit closer. I just think it's a little bit too bright. So the way I will tackle this is I will take my brush tool and I'll hold down Option and just sample a color from right next to it. And then I'll change this layer, the blank layer, to the color blend mode. And now if I paint, actually I'm not going to put it to the color, let's put it to darken. So now when I paint on this highlight, it will darken it to the level of this color that I just chose. So you see when I paint it, it just softens it a little bit so it's not so dark. So I'm going to do that. There you go. And that is looking good. Now let's analyze our image a little bit closer. So if I go Z, click 100, and we're looking through it, everything looks good, except you see how the snakes look a little funny here, like it's missing parts, and that is because when we made our gold selection, it selected the gold, but there are some parts that are not really gold, they're just a mixture between gold and black, and that's kind of missing now. So we need to fill in those. We have to work on the snake. So how do we do that? You see there's also some funny business here. So let's see how we do that. We go into our layers that we know we used for the snake, and we'll use those layers. This is one of them. Hold down Command to select others. So I will select that one, this one. Let's see what other ones we use for the snake. I think we even use this one, and this one. So now with this snake layer selected, hold down Option and drag them on the very top. So they're out of the group and by themselves so we can work on the snake. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images here. So I will turn them all off except the very bottom one. And I don't need this mask anymore. So I'll just click delete. And let's see. For this one, we can use it to fill in some of the snake here in the middle. So make a black mask, and then with a white brush, I will just paint in with the brush, not the clone stamp tool. We'll just paint in some of this middle parts over here. Something like this. Fill in all those missing chunks. Great. Let's move to the next layer. I will delete the mask from it because we don't need the mask that we previously had. And we can see this is the gold that it comes from the left side. So we will make a mask and we start filling in with our white brush. Make sure we get all the information from this snake. Like that. We're missing some in here. We have to make sure we get those. Now we do kind of have to blend these parts together. So maybe I'll go to flow 49, and then with the black one, I'll just kind of go backwards a little bit just to blend them in a little bit better. Maybe something like that. Dab, dab, dab. Moving on, the next layer, I will delete their mask. Now from this layer, when I'm looking at it, I don't think this will add too much to my snake, but I could add a little bit of highlight over here. So let's make a black mask, and then with a white brush, just paint a little bit of this highlight. And I think that will add something to the image. Great. Moving on to the next layer, I will delete the mask. And this one gives us the right side of the snake and the head. So make a black mask, and with a white brush, paint in this right side and the part that is missing. Don't worry about this part here on the blue, we'll fix that in a second. And let's see, bring back some of this head. All right, might be a little bit too dark. We have a lighter image. I think that one is lighter. Yeah, I think I will not use this image, but I will use this one. Let's see. Delete the mask. This one looks like a better fit. So let's paint the side from this one. I'm sorry if I'm kind of just bouncing around, but I've not edited this image before. This is my first time doing it, so, you know, there's some trial and error. I didn't have a plan for it. Fill in all those gaps that we missed when we selected the gold. And let's see. I need to blend this part over here a little bit. There you go. That is looking good. So now the snake is looking good, but we do have a funny little business going on in here that we need to take care of it. To do that, I will make a stamp layer, Command Option Shift E, like we've done before. And on this stamp layer, I will select it with the curvature pen tool. I will make a selection here. Something like that. Select all that funny business. And then right click on it, make selection. 1 pixel is good. Then we'll go to select inverse, because remember it's selecting everything else but what we thought we selected. And now with our selection, take the stamp tool, sample right from right next to it, and then very easily cleaned up that selection, just like that. Command D to get rid of the marching ants. Oop, we missed a little spot here. That's okay, I'll just sample from right over here next to it and clean this part as well. Command 0 to fit to screen, and this is our final image. I hope this was helpful and you learned something new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Skyler Ewing. I'll see you in my next video.